Hi and welcome to the channel. So it's December. I thought I'd do a review of the channel, what's actually happened this year. It's been quite disastrous, so let's just get into it. Right, so what has happened this year? Well, the year started off really well. With regard to the garden, got some seeds into compost, onto the windowsill, everything looking great. Unfortunately, I then picked up quite a severe virus or illness, and the consultant thinks it's actually come from the garden, which I'll go through a little later in the video. But that actually put a stop to most things. Struggled through, tried to get some of the plants into the greenhouse and into the garden, but I became so ill that I wasn't able to do anything outside. So this year's been a complete disaster when we look at what's actually happened in the garden. With regard to the channel, I was supposed to do a lot of DIY videos this year. That hasn't happened, obviously, because I've been really unwell. So the first thing I want to do is have a look at the greenhouse, see the state that the greenhouse is in at the moment, some of the issues, and look at what my plan is going to be for next year. Then we'll have a sort of a general discussion, and I'll actually show you what the consultant thinks was the issue, or at least where in the garden he thinks I got this quite severe infection from. Right, so first of all, let's look at the outside. This is our vegetable patch, which is an old Euro pallet. Nothing here but weeds. Large hole there, which means there's probably a rodent infestation in there. Definitely something probably living in there now. Outside, there's nothing really. Some of the herbs, unfortunately, which have been grown in the garden for years, have died off through lack of any care or maintenance. Our rosemary, which is at the back, so this was our mother plant that we were using to take cuttings from. That's basically gone. So there's not really a lot left outside that we can salvage. Moving into the greenhouse, this is an absolute disaster. So these are the tomato plants. The family tried to do the best, but they're not really into sort of gardening in this way, so it just became too much for them. We've got a lot of mould, which has developed through lack of circulation in the greenhouse. Obviously everything's died. We did have some tomato plants, but nothing really of any significance. And as you can see, I've got to now deal with all of this mould that's in here. I've actually got a mask on at the moment and probably being overcautious, but this powdery mildew, certainly don't want to get that on my chest. Over this side, so citrus plants have gone, apart from, I think this is an orange, suffered from a little frost damage recently, and then this is our lemon tree, which was huge. If you've seen any of the videos, that's obviously taken the brunt of most of the weather, everything else, so it has died off at the top, and that again was frost damage. So this greenhouse is basically derelict at the moment. So later in the video I'm just going to go through what my plans are for next year. Right, so at the back of the garden, I just want to show you what the consultant thinks was my issue, or where I had picked up this horrendous virus from. So you see that plastic tub there, which I was clearing out the garden at the start of the year. Came across this tub, thought it was a Tupperware tub. Just go down a bit further. It's actually an old bait station, rat or rodent bait station. Picked it up without gloves on, had a look at it. It took me a minute or so to realise it was an old bait station for rats. Placed it back here, went indoors, washed my hands, but it was too late. Had a cut on my hand from doing the car. We were doing some maintenance work on the car, got a small cut on one of my fingers, and the consultant thinks that fresh rat urine was on that particular bait station, and well, I got infected from it. So that bait station's going to go, obviously. I just wanted to leave it there. Well, I wanted to leave it there because it literally took 3 or 4 days and I started to feel unwell. It definitely needs to get out of the garden. So a word of caution to anybody, come across any of these bait stations, don't go anywhere near them unless you've got disposable gloves on. Right, so what actually happened to me? So after handling that bait station, about 4 or 5 days afterwards, started to get what I would class as really severe flu-like symptoms, but without the sore throat, just runny nose, feeling really lethargic. All the muscle groups in my body just started to ache and ache and ache. Didn't really want to get out of bed. Started to get a high temperature. That persisted for quite a few days. If I'd have been a female, I would have gone to the doctor straight away, but being a male, obviously that didn't happen. So that went on for about 5 or 6 days. Thought I was getting a bit better, but actually it was just almost like a placebo effect. Took a few different over-the-counter medications, thought I was getting better, but I was actually getting worse. Temperature then started to hit about 40 degrees. The problem was we had a digital thermometer in the house, a small one. Didn't realise that anything above 40 degrees, it would actually just read high, and we just thought it was faulty. So that particular thermometer wouldn't go over 40 degrees. Obviously really crucial that it does, because above 40 degrees can become fatal if you get any higher than maybe 41, 42 degrees. So my advice is check what thermometer you've got in the house. If it's a small digital one, make sure it goes over 40 degrees. If not, get rid of it and get another one. So cut a long story short, after about 12 days, feeling very, very unwell, went to the doctors. It was a locum doctor. She was late for a surgery. I only spent 4 minutes in there. She took my temperature, wouldn't tell me what the temperature was, just said it was high, and just told me to go home, bed rest, that type of thing. Go for blood tests, but wait 3 weeks before I went for the blood test, because obviously the infection would still be in my body before that. 2 days after, ended up at A&E with a temperature of around 41 degrees. Very, very unwell. Actually started treatment for blood-borne cancers because of some of the results that were coming back from blood tests. I had very high calcium levels in my blood, liver damage. They found pneumonia as well, the bottom half of my right lung. I didn't even know I had pneumonia because I didn't have any sort of respiratory problems. It was mainly just being really tired, lethargic, just wanted to curl up in a ball really most of the time, just to try and make those aches and pains go away. So into hospital, spent quite a while in hospital, then discharged. What's happened since then is I've started to, well, I have suffered from depression, bouts of depression, 4, 5, 6 hours long, and then that goes away. No indication of when it's going to start, and it goes as quick as it comes. They've sort of diminished over time, and the sensitive opinion is that possibly a lot was going on with my brain, especially when you get above 40 degrees, and it may be something to do with that. So that's kind of subsided a little bit. I haven't had an episode for about a couple of weeks, which is great, but all the way through this, I just haven't been able to get out in the garden at all. So got big plans for next year, feel a lot better now. Still not recovered fully, but I feel a lot better now. Want to obviously get more videos back onto the YouTube channel, because obviously everything is just taken a step to one side while I try to recover from this. So my advice to anyone, I mean, I'm 57 years old and never had anything like this. I've been gardening since I was about 7 years old, but I wear disposable gloves now if I'm going to touch anything in the garden. You just can't be too careful, especially if I didn't realise how dangerous rat urine was. All the different things that you can get from that. Still got some liver damage, lungs. yesterday, I think, or last week, Friday of last week, went for a follow-up x-ray. So hopefully that's all gone back to normal. Got more blood tests for the liver. Hopefully that'll obviously return. There's probably going to be some damage, some permanent damage there, but hopefully it's not great. So what we're going to do for the channel, kickstart the new year. Got some projects to do. Hopefully be able to get those out the way. Start posting regularly again to the channel. Really appreciate your support for this. Been absolutely fantastic. So obviously I want to carry on to try and repay that by producing more content. So that's the story. That's the sort of end of year review. Not the best one I've ever done, but I am keen to obviously get back into the greenhouse and get that back to where it was, where through 6 or 7 months of the year we're actually producing all of the salad, at least all of the salad food that we need for the entire year. What I'm going to do now is I'll just go through a few things that I'm planning to do for the greenhouse, and then hopefully start producing, as I said, the videos in the new year. Thank you very much for your support, really do appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't done already and hit that like button. Right, so what have we got planned for this greenhouse? I'm going to be putting some solar fans in here, so possibly one in there, maybe one in this side, or just keep it to that. Some solar powered circulation fans in here, maybe one on either side, because the biggest issue we've got here obviously is because of the humidity, and it's been a really wet summer and autumn, as we all know, in the UK. This is where this mould has been able to take root and actually attack all of the plants. Just no circulation in here at all. At the back, I think a double panel in here with 2 extractor fans, again solar powered extractor fans in there, and I think that will do. I've got to clear all of this out. We've got some J's fluid, which again going to wear some decent respiratory stuff just to obviously do this. Going to get all of this sprayed, all of this mold off here, the green algae, strip this completely, take out all of the compost soil in both sides of these beds, strip all those out and just generally give it a blast. It hasn't had a clean in here for years, so hopefully some positive things will come from it. Might actually get rid of the lemon tree there, so we've got a full bed, and then probably I think I'm going to extend these beds all the way to the back because we don't really need all of that at the back. So that's the basic plan. I'll do a video when I start to clean this, and obviously when I'm inserting the solar powered fans in here to get some circulation. I might also look at maybe making some vented windows for the bottom again to improve the circulation.